welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel where we talk about emotional and spiritual health. Today I want us to talk about low self-esteem. I'm gonna be doing two parts of it. So this particular video, we are going to talk about the signs of low self-esteem, or what to look for, and then in the next video we'll talk about how to overcome low self-esteem or low self-worth. People use that interchangeably. They're slightly different, but they're very close. So what are the signs of low self-esteem? Before I start, I just want to remind you, please subscribe to my channel, share, like. Let's grow into, healthy mental health, emotional health, spiritual health together. Let's build a community where we are really seeking God and putting Him first and acknowledging that Jesus came or died for us for our mental health too. This is a subject that has been ignored, and this channel is really actually to encourage believers to know that God cares about our emotional and mental health. It's not just a side thing. God actually cares about it, and He died for that too. So so what are the signs? What are the symptoms? What do you have to look for? If some of the things I'll be talking about, they are definitely not exhaustive, but a lot of times, we can have like a long list, but it's all repeated. So what I do, I just compress them, or just summarize them. And if you feel that you might be like going through any of the symptoms or any of the signs, don't ignore. Don't say that's not you, because usually that's the enemy, saying, wanting you to think about somebody else instead of thinking about yourself. Because what I did realize when I started my working on my emotional and mental health, I realized whenever I opened to the possibility that I could be struggling in that, the Holy Spirit just opened my eyes, and then He started helping me. And the more I allowed Him, the more I recognized that I really needed help in that area. When we close ourselves, it's like we are closing the help out. It's like that's not us. We are in denial. And we'll be talking about that next week, about how to step out of denial. So anyway, the first sign is feelings of insecurity. People, or you are the person that is so insecure in almost everything, insecure in relationships, insecure in performing your job assignments, insecure in just insecure. And your insecurities come because you are afraid of rejection, you are afraid of failure, you are afraid of all these things that we think that if we take a risk, people may not like us, or we are not the people that that will be chosen for the next promotion because we are not worthy. So actually, what is low self-esteem? It is a condition or lack of confidence in ourselves and in what we can do. So again, in the next video we'll be talking about the causes, but simply it's because our souls have been damaged and fractured along the way, and so we have developed a low self or wrong perception or a distortion about who we are and what other people are, and even wrong perception about God, but mainly wrong perception about ourselves. And because of that, we project this to people, So that is something to look for. You are insecure, and again, it's coming from a place that you think you're not worthy, you think you're not good enough, and actually that is the second sign. You think you're not good enough, you think you're a bad person. And again, I've put those together. They are slightly different, but I'm trying to summarize them. So you are not a good person, so you're not worthy, you are not the right person, and you have these feelings all the time. Even when you're trying to do something, you feel that you're not good, you're not a good person. Again, that's coming from a belief that, about a wrong belief about yourself. And all these things affect relationships. So people with low self-esteem, they don't keep relationships, whatever relationships are, because they are not confident in who they are. Okay? And that's how toxic relationships are formed, especially if both partners or both people in the relationship, they have low self-esteem, these insecurities. So low self-esteem brings insecurities. Okay? So these insecurities of I'm gonna be left, for another relationships, or I'm not good enough, I'm not a good mother, my children will reject me, or I'm not a good friend, I'm not a good worker, all that. And what that is causing us not to show up fully for our assignment, for what God has called us to do. That is what the enemy actually wants. He wants you to play small, to hide yourself, not to show your authenticity, not to show yourself fully, not to show yourself in life fully. So it's like, you're somewhere hidden, because he knows that you're dangerous, and your full potential can be realized, you will do marvelous things, because you are made in the image of God. And that's why the issue of low self-esteem is a big issue. It's something Jesus died for. He knew that the enemy, the Bible says that Jesus came to destroy the works of the enemy. This is one of those works of the enemy, where he wants to destroy our perceptions of who we are. So the other symptom, or the other sign, is that somebody is easily offended because they are hurting. So it's like, these people are so sensitive. Because again, they think they are not, worthy. They are not the right people in a situation. So anything somebody says, it offends them. It offends them. And if you are that kind of a person who is so easily offended, almost anything people say, you take it personally, that is a sign, a symptom that there's somewhere that, your soul is broken, is fractured, and you're having, it's causing you to have that perception that people are hurting you. People may not be hurting you. Maybe they're just talking, but you feel offended. But also that could also be an emotional wound. So the other thing is, people that have low self-esteem, they're very judgmental. I know, probably didn't know that, because people who are judgmental, we kind of don't like them, but we think they actually know so much, and we think that, because they are judging everybody as if they are righteous, but sometimes it's coming from a place of, it's because they are judging themselves harshly, and so they are projecting that to other people. And this is the other thing, and I've said this in other places I've taught. I've said that people that gossip, people that are critical, they are judgmental, it's actually coming from a place of insecurity. And when they do that, they temporarily feel a little bit better about themselves. I know it's awkward, it's perverted, but that is the truth. It's like if they can make somebody else look small, they will feel big. If they can criticize you, then it's like you're not gonna see them as a bad person. They come up as a good person and you come up as a bad person. I know it's messed up, but that is the truth. A lot of the time, people that are critical of others, it's because they are critical of themselves. It's because they judge themselves harshly, and they now project on you and they judge you. And when they do that, they feel a little relief, Even gossipers, they feel a little relief when they do that. We are not saying it's a good thing. It's not a good coping mechanism, but it is. It's a coping mechanism. Along that, the other symptom is that people that have low self-esteem, they don't see anything good about themselves, and that is what the enemy wants, because there is nobody that was born without good traits. Somebody may be an honest person, somebody may be a hardworking person, somebody may be, very gentle, kind, loving, all those things that God has put in our heart because we are made in His image. But what happens is that the enemy covers all that with low self-esteem, and you don't see that. What you see is the bad stuff, and that's what he's trying to do. And so again, in the next video, when we talk about how to overcome low self-esteem, you see that one of the steps is that you have to draw these good things. You have to speak these good things, bring them out, bring them out and play them just like you've been playing the bad things, so that you can overcome the bad stuff. So, and then the other symptom is negative self-talk. So people who have low self-esteem, they talk negatively about themselves, or negative narratives about life, about everything. Even good thing, they actually turn it into bad thing, because they don't believe things can be good. It's a mindset. So we have to be careful how we talk, but also when we find ourselves always being critical and always negative in what we talk, it's because it's coming from that place. It's because the enemy of our soul, or the thoughts that in our minds, we are trying to reinforce those bad stuff. So the only way to do is to stop that negative self-talk. Again, that's something we'll talk about later. But yeah, so if you are always thinking, or when you wake up, the first thing you think is about, oh my goodness, this day is gonna be a bad day. There's nothing good. You don't see anything good in your life. Like everything is doom and gloom, and even when you get a promotion or a new opportunity, you self-sabotage by saying, oh well, I don't think they will take it, I don't think I can do that, or you just find something negative to self-talk, to talk. And that is in itself self-sabotaging the good things that God is doing in your life. And that's coming from a low self-esteem position. And then there's depression and anxiety. And those, again, are symptoms. They are symptoms, and they're coming from, can you imagine if you are constantly thinking about failure, about rejection, about how you are not a good person, how you to play small, all these things we've talked about. Think about what it does to your brain. Think about, and we know that anxiety is rooted in fear. So, this fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear that I'm not gonna, I'm not good enough. This is gonna cause anxiety. And anxiety and depression, they can go, it's in a spectrum. It can go full blown, and you can be really severely depressed. Mental illness. Anxiety on the scale, it can go the other way, extreme, this can become pathological, and you have mental illness. And and that's why we are talking about these things, so that you can catch them, so that you can start working on them, so that you can stop. I tell people the journey of self-care, the journey of working on your mental and emotional, spiritual health, to me, it's the most important. But we work so hard on other things, acquiring stuff, all these things. But we will not even enjoy those things if we are having these kind of thoughts, And that's why, to me, it is so important. And I pray that people will grow to understand how important, mental health, emotional health is so important, and how it's part of our spiritual growth. Like, we can't separate the two. And so I hope you see that. So I think the last one is just fear of failure. I put this on it by itself, because fear of failure kind of just encompasses everything, because if you are afraid you are not good enough, you'll be afraid to fail. If you are afraid that you are going to be abandoned, you are going to fear that you will fail in a relationship. If you are afraid, so fear of failure is a big one, and it's the people kind of put it in its own category, because that's why people are afraid to move. It's like a general thing. But just know that all these emotions are rooted in fear, okay? There are two main emotions, like I've said before, love and fear. And God says that He's not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. When you hear sound mind, we are talking about mental health, right? Emotional health, about our sound mind, how we think. And so look out for that. And all the best. And thank you for tuning in. Okay? Bye.